I recorded a video this morning, and I mentioned that it's like I recall there's supposed to be a third thing I was supposed to speak about, but for the life of me, I couldn't remember it at all. Then as I sat by my computer to begin uploading and rendering that file, the Lord reminded me of what I wanted to speak about. But it's by His divine providence to cause me to forget what I'm going to speak about now, to save it for this time, so that both or all three messages wouldn't get mixed up in one. And as you can see based on the title, it's about the Queen. That one, but also not that one. And to explain, Queen Elizabeth is arguably the most popular monarch in the world. But we'll get to her a little bit later. I grew up with a passion for aviation, and an icon in the aviation industry is the Boeing 747. And it is referred to as the Queen of the Skies. Now, when it comes to idolatry, the Lord has a serious issue with that. The first two of the 10 Commandments deals with idolatry. He had Jeremiah speak about the Queen of Heaven. Some people liken the Queen of Heaven, Asherah, with Mary, who some people actually worship. That's another story. In Jeremiah 18, the Lord sent Jeremiah down to the potter's house, and he used something in the natural that had a supernatural meaning. Within the last year, the Airbus A380, they reach a point where they're going to cease production. And at that point in time, I perceived from the Lord about the giant has fallen. Because the A380 was the world's, well, it still is because some are in operation, is the world's largest commercial airliner, passenger airliner. So that ceased production, or cease in production, what I perceived from the Lord was it signified the giant falling. In fact, the issue Boeing is having with their incredibly popular 737, when they had those two crashes, I think within a 6-month period, the Lord even used it to show something regarding the 737 MAX 8. How the first aircraft that crashed, it went down was a Lion Air. And the next aircraft was Ethiopian Air. And something they had in common wasn't simply because they were the same type of aircraft. Lion Air had a lion on it. Ethiopian Air also had a lion painted on it, and that was a similarity. But it was also a play on word. Lion represented lying. Of course, I didn't think about this until now, but also hit me. The devil is referred to as a lion, roaming around seeking whom he may devour. He is a liar. So I didn't get the revelation until now. And there's some things going on, some shady things with Boeing regarding the MAX 8. But with the Queen of the Skies, a true icon in the aviation industry, the few airliners or airlines that had that plane in service, they had a plan to replace them because things had changed to where now they're shifting away from quad jets to planes with simply 2 engines. And a part of it has to do with fuel economy. Engines are more efficient nowadays. But the 747 being such an icon, those who love aviation, it is actually a sad moment. And I've seen some videos recently. For example, Qantas, the Queensland and Northern Territory Air Service in Australia, retired their last 747. And for me, it was actually a sad moment. I'm like, I feel so sad because a plane is going out of service. And yes, I've flown on some flights on a 747 and they were memorable. And some actually had to do with ministry, ministering to people at 30,000+ feet in the air. So I do have precious memories of flying on a 747, coming back from Kuwait, going to Australia, heading to Germany. I remember those things. It's kind of like, isn't something a plane, and still was sad to see it go. But also part of it is, those who look at those things, they knew the plane was going to be put out of service. But because of current things in this world, the transition date was moved up. And that is something, in a sense, no one saw coming. The transition date was moved up. And many people who thought that they had, oh boy, many people who thought they had time to fly the airline one more time soon discovered that the time they thought they had, they didn't have anymore. And some of you hear me speaking, you're picking up things in the spirit, because this is not simply about a plane. But the airline, many people thought that with the 747 they had more time to do like a farewell flight. And it didn't happen that way. It got taken out of service sooner than expected. And most of these aircrafts, they're old. And as I was watching a video, I'm like, looking in the cockpit, the flight deck, you see the archaic equipment. But a part of with the Boeing 747, because it is so iconic, there is a mystique about it. So it's not like it has the most modern avionics. Well, most of them, it's not like they have the most modern avionics. And many people are sad to see it go. One of the things the Lord is revealing to me is how we, when He, for example, may have something better for us, that we want to hold on to the old. Part of it because it is comfortable, because it may have a good reputation, and we want to hold on to old things rather than letting it go. And there's still a few more 747s in production. For example, Air Force One. There's a replacement coming out. So it'll still be in the skies for a little while. But most of us won't be able to fly on them. They've been retired. There's still the cargo version. And some of the commercial ones that are used for passenger service, they may end up become cargo airlines. But if you've ever looked at an aircraft and you've marveled at its beauty, one of the things about it, like many aircrafts, they may use CAD to design the aircrafts. That is something that, in a sense, like using a T-square, paper and pencil to describe it, or to draft it, to engineer it. But it stood the test of time. But even that queen had to go. And that queen left sooner than expected. Those who thought they're going to be able to take a farewell flight missed out on the opportunity because it happened much sooner. Likewise, this life that we have, tomorrow is not guaranteed. Jesus spoke about a man, and he was rich, and he was, in a sense, bringing so much in that he needed a bigger barn. And the Lord spoke about this very life, or this very night, your life will be required of you. So we don't know what it's going to end for us. We may think we may be like the queen of the skies, that we're going to fly for a long time, and something comes up that cuts the transition much sooner than expected. Now for me, like I said, I've been on the 747 quite a few times. You may have done the same thing too. And it is an iconic aircraft. I do like aviation, and it was a sad thing. And then it makes me think about Queen Elizabeth, or I thought about Queen Elizabeth II, the second. She's in the sunset of her life. See, whereas I have been on the 747 personally, I have never met the Queen. Most likely you haven't either. Now I know recently there are two people who've been supporting the ministry in the United Kingdom. Maybe you've seen her. But the Queen of the Skies, the 747, took his final bow. Queen Elizabeth, despite her popularity or any power that she has, she will one day be absent from the body and be with the Lord. And doesn't mean she's going to heaven, but she will stand before him for judgment. Whereas there are many protocols regarding appearing before the Queen, she's going to stand before the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. She's going to have to bow to Jesus. She's going to have to give an account of herself to Jesus. Every single thing. She's going to have to give an account. Her church attendance will make a difference, because for church attendance and the things that she has done in her life, to include how she has stewarded things with her family. She has to give an account to the Lord. To whom much is given, much is required. I know I told someone recently, in the United Kingdom, pray for your Queen. Pray for your Queen. So the way I was moved, almost on the verge of tears, seeing the 747 taking its final bow. The Queen's time is coming. And more people will be moved to tears, those who have never met the Queen. But she's also an icon, much like 747. And even as I speak about the Queen, I know that when the time comes for her transition, that it is linked to an event that will also drive me to tears. But that's something the Lord's been preparing me for. So the Boeing 747. And by the way, with the Boeing 747, even its mystique has made it seem better than it is. Be careful about pursuing something because it has a reputation and it's actually better. It's not as good as it seems. It's not as good as it sounds. You may have seen something marketed so well and packaged so well. Like even you may be hungry and you're looking for something to eat, and something catches your attention because of the packaging, the photograph. And when you buy it, you pay the price for it. When you buy it and you pull out the package, you have what they call buyer's remorse. And then when you taste it, it doesn't taste as good as you thought. But the packaging looks good. With a Boeing 747, solid aircraft. But there are certain things that even the packaging looks good, but it is still an icon. Sometimes an icon is an idol. When the Ark of God was taken to the house of Dagon, Dagon fell on his face twice. Dagon fell on his face twice. Everything bows to the Lord. Everything comes to an end. God, the Ancient of Days, He lasts forever. Jesus, the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending. See, yes, for me it was sad seeing the Queen of the Skies going down, where most of us will not be able to fly that aircraft again. But also brought the Queen of England in the sunset of her life. 747 seemed as if it had more time, but the time ended much sooner than most people expected because of largely unforeseen circumstances. So I encourage you, pray for the Queen, that kind of like King Hezekiah, that she truly gets her house in order, because she'll have to stand before the Lord and give an account to herself for her actions. You may look at her one way, clean, proper, all this stuff, but she has to have everything right with the Lord. Jesus said, "Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do what I say?" So pray that her house is truly in order. To whom much is given, much is required, and she will stand before the Lord for judgment. I said a lot during this message. May not have been what you expected. It was sad seeing the Boeing 747 go, the Queen of the Skies, which makes it even more special for me whenever I see one in the future. The Queen of England, she's in the sunset of her life. And after this, she gives an account of herself to the Lord Jesus Christ, and He is not mocked. And some things she's not used to, and that is bound in knee to another. And she will bow the knee to Jesus, the Lord of Lords, and the King of Kings. God bless you. Jesus is Lord.